weekend or so, and I worked with two phenomenal producers, David Warner, Mark Doyle, and we layer by layer, note by note, built this record from the ground up. We just deconstructed it and rebuilt it. And the thing about Dark Side of the Moon is that I grew up with it. I didn't like my brother's other music, my prog brother, but I loved Pink Floyd because I called it boy music for girls. That's what I thought. And Dark Side of the Moon always spoke to me, even as a kid, because for me, it had all of the elements of a great work of art. Because, you know, with great works of art, like a great Shakespearean play or a great opera, you can bend it and twist it and stretch it and dress it in different clothes, but it always works. And that's Dark Side. And the other thing about a great work of art is that it should have a deeply timeless philosophical message or a deeply spiritual center to it, or both, you know, ideally. And I think Dark Side has it. And I was, at the time I recorded this, being in a funk, I was also thinking about I was worried about us as humans. I still am. I have to tell you, it's not getting better in that department. I feel like the species, not America, I mean the species as a whole, but the historian in me sees what we are living, the people in this room especially, because we're all around the same age group, let's face it. And you know, we are privileged to be witness to a great turning of history. Because once we go 20, 30, 40 years, when all of the people in this room have left this plane, no one will remember what life was like before the age of transhumanism and artificial intelligence and this internet that has taken over our lives. We remember what life was like before that. And so they'll tell tales of us. Your grandchildren will say, I remember. No, it's true. And so the historian in me thinks, wow, that's so interesting to be a witness to that. But the other side of me, the human that has to stay here for the next 30 years, is like, transhumanism, artificial intelligence, all this stuff, I'll be honest, it really scares me. And I'm afraid that with this constant, 24/7 information flow we have coming at us, we're all addicted to these little things, these phones, and I'm guilty of it too. But I worry that we're losing our center as humans. We're losing that thing, that attachment to the real world. This is why I love performing live so much, and why I think what Michelle and Gary do here is so great. Because we need to be together like this, listening and So anyway, I was thinking of all that stuff when I made this record, and Dark Side of the Moon gave me a vehicle to express all those feelings, because I think it spoke more to now than it did when it came out in the early 70s. Much more so. It was prescient in that way. And I wish I wrote in a way that would express all my feelings about all this, but I don't. But Roger Waters does. So thank you, Roger. And so I made this record, and we shopped it around. I didn't think I was going to get another deal. I mean, I was over 40, and But lo and behold, V2 America, a wonderful label, loved it. And they decided they were going to fly up to Syracuse and see us perform this. And so we performed it for them in a little stage. And my day gig, whenever I wasn't working, was a recruiter. So a very, high-level recruiter, actually. And I'm not afraid to make a phone call. So I called up Syracuse University, and I got the head of their theater department. And he got a bunch of interns that built us a stage. And oh my God, it was, I call it a show. So they came up and they saw the thing and they signed me. And just as this record was about to come out, V2 ran out of money. So the Moby record, and he had been given like a couple of $1 million advance, it tanked. And that was that. and they folded, and they sent me boxes and boxes full of these advanced copies of the record that would have gone out to all of the press and publicity, and I promptly lost them because I just couldn't look at them. And like 2-3 years later, my husband is up in our office and he's perusing eBay to see if anybody's selling my stuff, you know, and he's like, "Mayor, get up here." So I go up and I go, "What?" He goes, "Look at this." And I guess the kids from the label were selling these albums for $200 a piece. I only tell you that because I have one, and I had lost them, and then he looked at me, he goes, "You go find those records." So I tell you that because we are on the last box of those, and so my suggestion is you buy a bunch of them and resell them, you know. And if it were me, I'd buy a little Bitcoin while you can. So there you go. So, but enough of my financial advice. Anyway, but I do think that this speaks to us now more than ever. So I'm going to sing these last 2 songs from Dark Side of the Moon, and then I'm going to take a little break, and then I'm going to come back, and maybe, don't be shy, I'll take a few requests, and if I can do something that doesn't require a band, I will do it, okay? You can get imaginative. Here we go. Michelle, can you turn up the guitar just a mite in my monitor? You